Hello everyone. So in this lecture we will going to twin primes as well as co-primes. So basically these two names has prime numbers, but it doesn't mean they are related to prime numbers. So twin primes means only these twin primes is related to prime numbers, whereas co-primes is related to all the numbers. Okay, so don't confuse with the word prime numbers and get confused. So let's going through twin primes. So twin primes means difference should be between two prime numbers. Okay, so if the difference between two prime numbers is 2, then that is called those two numbers are called twin primes. So for example, let's consider 5 and 7. So this is a pair of twin primes. Okay, because here these two numbers are prime numbers as well as the difference is 2. The other example could be 3 and 5. Okay, maybe 11 and 13 and so on. So there are many prime numbers, and in those prime numbers the difference between the two prime numbers, if the difference is 2, then these two numbers are called as twin primes. So there is a generic formula to know whether the two numbers are prime numbers or not. Let me give you that number. The generic formula that could be 6n minus 1 comma 6n plus 1. If you are saying two numbers are twin primes, then definitely those numbers should fit into this formula. Clear? And n value should be 1, 2, 3, so on. Okay, if you are saying some number, those two numbers are twin primes, then those numbers should fit into this formula, except 3 and 5. Except 3 and 5, this won't be suitable to this formula. All the twin primes will be set into this formula, generic formula. You can call it as generic formula, where n value is 1, 2 and so on. If you put 1 here, for 1 this will be 6 and minus 1, that will be 5, comma this will be 7. If it is 2, then this will be 11, comma 13 and so on. So this is a generic formula for all the twin primes. So here the concept of twin primes ends. Okay, and coming to co-primes, and one more thing, and this sum should always divisible by 2. Sorry, 12. So this sum always should be divisible by 12. Okay, if you consider any twin primes, those sum should be divisible by 12, as well as those two numbers should fit into this formula, and except 3, 5, which is a twin prime. So this kind of question may be expected in any aptitude exam, in any government exams, and like any entrance test or anything. So if you follow these two tricks, then maybe you can crack that question. Okay, maybe you don't know prime numbers which are after 1000 or 2000 or 3000, some 10,000, some random value, a big prime number. But whereas when you follow this rule, that will be much easier. So coming to co-primes. So co-primes it can be any two numbers, so which have HCF is 1. So related to HCF, in a deep we'll go through deep discussion in further classes. For as of now, I'll give brief description like HCF and ఏంటి అసలు యాక్చువల్ HCF అంటే ఏంటి అని తర్వాత డిస్కస్ చేద్దాం. బట్ యాజ్ ఆఫ్ నౌ HCF కి బదులుగా నేను ఒక చిన్న లాజిక్ విధంగా మీకు చెప్తాను. సో దట్ ఈస్ ఆల్సో HCF. I'll say you clearly. So here co-primes is like when you take two examples, suppose 14 or 25, some 5 and 7, or any two random numbers. Okay, suppose in this example, if you take factors of 14, those are 1, 2, 7 as well as 14. So 14 has 4 factors, whereas 25 has 1 as well as 5 and 25. So these are factors of 14 and 25, and in this we do have a common factor, that is 1. So two numbers which does have a common factor, that is 1. If that is 1, then those two numbers are called coprimes. So maybe the other example can be 5, 7 or 5 or 7, 5, 7, okay, or 9, 10, 5, 7. So in these coprimes, there is a one note, like these numbers may be prime or may be composite, any numbers. I am saying any numbers which does have a common factor as 1. If suppose the common factor is 2 or 3 or some 4, those numbers are not called as coprimes. If suppose, so as I mentioned earlier, the HCF of coprime should be always 1. What does HCF mean? The HCF definition itself defines highest common factor. So in these two factors, these are all, one is a common factor, and in that there may be a chance of having more than one common factor. Suppose if we go to example, if suppose we do have 12 and 14. So for 12 and 14, we do have for 12 1, 2, 3, 6 and 12. These are factors of 12. Whereas for 14, 1, 7, 2, 14. So here if we closely observe, we do have two common factors. Okay, so we do have two common factors. As the definition itself defines, HCF means highest common factor. Highest common factor is here 2. The highest of the common factors is 2. But here in this example, highest common factor is 2, but according to coprimes, the highest common factor should be 1. So if these two numbers doesn't have a highest common factor as 1, it does have highest common factor, but that is not equal to 1. Okay, clear? So two numbers which does have 1 as their highest common factor. So here if we consider, in this case we do have highest common factor as 1, in this case also it will be 1, and this case also it will be 1, whereas in this case it will be 2. So here 2, if the highest common factor is not 1, then those numbers are not called as coprimes. So these two numbers are not coprimes. The other example are valid for this definition. So related to HCF, we will discuss in detail and in deep in further classes, and that's it.